Hello, we are live.
Hi.
Welcome to the second part of our Tolkien Cookalong. Here is Rosie from Rosie Cockshot on BookTube. If you don't know her, check out her channel. She's awesome. She reads so many genres and has incredible vlogs and wrap-ups and even TBRs, and I'm just a big fan of Rosie.
Which,
so definitely
like, mutual, so thank you.
And last time we decided to do a cook-along because Rosie got a cookbook with the recipes from Middle-earth. Here is the book. It's also linked in the description below if you want to find it, buy it, look it up. It's all in there. And last time we picked up, what was it?
It was like cookies of some sort.
West Farthing Fairings, I think they were called, which were kind of cookies from the Shire. Actually, one of the questions that I got was from Amrita, and she asked if we ever made them again. I felt called out. I did not make them again.
I mean, they were good, but they weren't like...
They were good, yeah.
Regular rotation cookies.
Also, I never make cookies just for myself, so that's my excuse. And this time we decided to try something different, and we thought Lembas bread. I hope that's how it's pronounced.
Lembas I think so. Bread. That's how I would pronounce it.
Lembas bread, which I personally, when I think of Lord of the Rings and food, like this is the main thing I think about. This will be one of the things that we will discuss, but it's a very iconic thing in Lord of the Rings, and it was in the book, and we decided to make it. Hello, Margaret. Thank you for joining us. Do you have the recipe on you? Do you have the little information to read it out?
Cookbook. Yes. Would you like me to read out the description stuff?
Yes, please.
Okay. Lembas bread. With the hint of spiciness from the chili, this bread is delicious, warm from the oven alongside the smoky stewed beans, or simply accompanied by a few rashers of crispy bacon. It's also very good with mature cheddar cheese and a few sweet pickled cucumbers for lunch, which we'll get to this. I'm not sure I agree with this cookbook author's interpretation of Lembas bread. It sounds like it's going to be delicious. That's not where my brain goes. Anyways, then the more book-themed description says, Lembas bread feeds the soul even more than the belly, helping travelers maintain the willpower to overcome tremendous obstacles and intimidating distances. Galadriel gifts the Fellowship a stock of Lembas breads, each wrapped in malloran leaves to sustain them during the hardships ahead. According to the Silmarillion, Lembas is first made by Yavanna, the Valyrian queen responsible for all things that grow on Earth, using a special corn that grows in Aman. It is therefore likely that Lembas would have been similar in texture and appearance to a deliciously comforting cornbread. Can I go off on a slight tangent?
Please, yes.
I think that when Tolkien uses the word corn, he's using it in the older sense of any kind of grain, not in the sense of what I as a North American think of as corn, like maize or corn on the cob type corn. But this is just my interpretation.
That's so interesting. I did not know there was another meaning to corn. I just think of corn as corn.
I remember being really confused because I had to read some Adam Smith in university, and he was talking about Roman corn rations for their soldiers. And I was sitting there being like, the Romans didn't have corn. It was 1,000 years before the New World was contacted. What? And I was like, oh, so I had to look it up, and it's it used to be that corn was like wheat or rye or any kind of
grain.
So that's why I think we get this, not what I imagine as Lembas bread, but it does look amazing. So I'm excited to make it.
Margaret is on board with you. I mean, I have nothing to say. When I was looking
That's fair.
up pictures of the Lembas bread to include in the thumbnail, I came upon a lot of different recipes and people making them at home. And there was so many variations and it always looked different. There was like one recipe that it was very sweet. It was almost like a cookie, which was weird. And all of them, I don't know where they got it all, but they were all looking sort of like in the movie, that kind of flatbread quality. And I wonder what we'll end up with today.
Based on the recipe, I feel like I have an image in my head of what this is going to come out like, which is like what I would call a cornbread, like kind of.
So like, explain cornbread to me, because I mean, I'm sure we have it, but it's not as widely spread.
It is hard to explain. Think, this is going to sound so weird. Think something the size, when you like portion it, the size and the shape and the rough dimensions of a brownie, but not like a brownie texture. Like, it's got like a kind of crumbly bread texture is how I would describe it. But
the way it always looked to me, it always looked, when I saw it in New York everywhere, very like yellowish orange. And it looked like cake without like any frosting, just like the actual
it looks
bread.
Like cake, but it's savory.
And it's like very soft, right? It's not.
Yes, yeah. Like I don't
crunchy.
Like try and make a sandwich and like hold things.
That's so interesting, because if this is something you would eat for a long period of time during a journey, you need something that will not change in that time. If it's very soft, it will become hard.
Yeah, I cannot imagine putting cornbread in a backpack for a long-term like hiking trip. You would take it out and you'd be like, I don't have cornbread. I have a bag of crumbs.
Yes. And also if it's like rainy, you don't want any moisture to do stuff to it. Okay, I just checked the cookbook author. He's from Scotland. There's no excuse for going the cornbread route. Calling him out. Yes, it's grainy, savory yellow cake.
It sounds weird, but I like it.
I don't think I had enough of it to remember it, but again, who knows what we'll end up with today.
Yeah.
One more thing. What else was I gonna say? I did put the ingredients and the recipe instructions in the description. So if you want to follow us, whether you're watching this live or watching this later, you can join us. We don't know if it's going to be good. The thing with this cookbook that is a little hard for me, I'm a very visual person, especially when it comes to food, especially when it comes to food that I'm not familiar with. Like here, there's so many recipes with wacky names. And I see the ingredient list. I don't know how it's going to look. Like, what is this? So we have no idea how it's supposed to look afterwards. I mean, it said that it makes 16 squares. Like, what? The image that I have in my mind is the bread from the movie. I don't know if we're going to get that. But again, is the movie version right? Did the movie get it right? We don't know.
Me, the movie version makes more sense as the type of bread that they're using it as. Like, I don't know what the flavoring was, or if, I think we see people eat it at times, but like, for me, like the small, hard, flat, like that to me makes sense as something you'd want to put in a backpack and jostle and carry around.
Like a granola bar almost. Like something that's like pressed together. It's not like I mentioned flatbread. It's not too flat that it's just, a thin layer of whatever flour. Like it has something in it. We don't know, but we will see.
It'll be fun to find out.
Yes. We did ask for questions on YouTube and Instagram. We're going to go through them. We also came up with questions of our own. I kind of spammed Rosie with all my
That is okay.
I was on the subway and I'm like, oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do this. So we're gonna do that. And we looked up some quizzes online, all like Lord of the Rings quizzes, and we'll see if we'll be successful in them.
Sounds good.
I usually picture those popped rice cakes as a kid, tasteless but last forever. Do you think they last forever because they're tasteless? Otherwise, you just eat them. Oh, I don't know. I need to gather everything together.
So I'm gonna grab some tools.
Yes. I was gonna ask you. So I mentioned that for me, when I think of Lord of the Rings and I think of food, I think of Lembas bread because I think the movies are much more upfront in my memory. I mean, I did reread the books last year, but still, like, I've seen the movies so many times. That's the first thing. Like, my reference point is the movies, and there's quite a few scenes and mentions of Lembas bread. I wonder. I know that you reread the books way more times than I did. When you think of iconic foods or like foods that you associate with Lord of the Rings, with Middle Earth, what do you think of?
I do think Lembas bread as well. I think because it's talked about a lot in the books as well, and I think a lot of the other foods that are eaten are not that different from foods we eat just in like the real world.
Yeah.
So there's lots of other like iconic meals, but most of the other ones are things that like exist and people actually eat. Whereas Lembas bread is, as far as I can tell, pretty different from anything we actually have.
Oh, so like original Middle Earth dish.
Yeah, like I don't remember Bilbo serving pickles or something, because I mean I eat pickles. Those are normal food. They don't make me wonder about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last time you mentioned, was it last time or was it on one of our calls? I don't remember. You mentioned mushrooms on toast as something that hobbits love.
Yeah.
Because they love mushrooms, and that would be a dish that I would have remembered because, I mean, I'm fine with mushrooms. I'm not obsessed with them, but I would not want them on toast. Oh, hello, Amy. You made it. Yes. Yay, Amy. Hey, Margaret. I'm so glad to have you guys here. Okay, I need to not get distracted. Last time we cooked for way too long because I was so distracted.
That is okay.
Okay, so let's start on some questions.
Sounds good.
There's also Gollum's fish. Yes, that's true. That's a meal you should not forget. Actually, in the cookbook, there is, I think it's called Gollum's raw fish, actually, like as a dish, and it's some kind of sashimi or something. And there's like a thing in the recipe that always like, you know, use what do you think is safe? Like, don't actually go for the raw fish. Maybe find something that's not
Don't go to
raw.
a random river somewhere, pull a fish out.
Yeah, just like make sure that it's not actually raw fish, but it's called raw fish. So I think this author was just poking fun. I don't know. This book is so hilarious. It's so weird. With guts and all. That's why, like, I don't take this cookbook too seriously because making sashimi as like a Middle Earth dish, that's hilarious.
It is.
That's just ridiculous.
It's a really fun idea for a cookbook, but I think he probably realized pretty quickly that like there's not enough foods that are like super distinctive, and he was sort of like, well, it's inspired by. Which I'm fine with that.
Which is also fun because, and like, if it were just like, oh, this is inspired very roughly, just like to get you guys into like Lord of the Rings mood, but then he puts all of that information like with the Lembas bread about, oh, in the Silmarillion, it's from there, and that's why I chose it as a cornbread. Like he there is semblance of research and some kind of like deep thought put into it, which makes me think that like if it was just like openly, this is ridiculous, it would be one thing, but he is trying, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just a little weird vibe,
yeah.
It's unfortunate there is no Asian food or Asian people represented in the books. Middle Earth's loss. Yes, in the, I mean, there is a talk about Mordor allies from the East, and in the movies they looked Middle Eastern. They had the elephants and everything, which also, you know, they were shown as villains and bad people. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of representation problems in Lord of the Rings. We'll just, you know, we know it. And also I think it would be, I don't know, I always think about, you know, him writing these books and his, like, what is his life experience, what is he taking all of this information? He's basing this on his life, on his culture. It's not like Tolkien was this very a guy who, you know, went to a lot of different places and experienced a lot of different cultures and stuff. So I can see why, like, he stretched things and he went into imagination, but he didn't actually base things on other cultures except for his own.
And I think there's also an element of, like, in some like interviews and letters and stuff, he talks about how he was trying to create like a mythology for Europe. And like specifically for England and stuff. So, I mean, if he were writing now, I would definitely be more critical. Not that, you know, the past is an excuse for racism, but there is a little bit of, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just making excuses or if there is a bit of a valid point of, you know, he was writing for the Europe that he as an, you know, upper middle class or upper class white man in Britain saw in the 1940s, and given that, I don't think he did a terrible job.
Oh, definitely. And like, consider who, like, the audience that he wanted was. It wasn't people from all over the world, from different types of walks of life. It was a very, like, specific, I always picture him in his office at, oh my God, is it Oxford or Cambridge?
I don't even know.
I think it's Cambridge.
Yeah, one of the two for sure.
One of the two, yeah. And he spent so much time there. He obviously was a professor and he studied there. Like, he spent his life there in that very specific community and people around him who are very similar if you think of, you know, class and everything else. So I definitely, thank you, Margaret. Oxford. Why did I think Cambridge was, I don't know. Anyway, so I definitely see that's a very different kind of author than someone who's writing right now, and that book is published for a much wider audience. And who is that audience? And I think just, I mean, it's not, racism is not excusable, and I don't want to say but right now. But I do understand what, like, the circumstances do matter, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I have hand-waved the race rap problems away for dead authors. It's usually only problematic for me if they were prejudiced even for their time. I mean,
that's, yeah.
It's always hard to talk about because you don't know. You don't know how they were.
Yeah, I think with dead authors too, there's a bit of the, are they writing things that are like, racism is an explicit plot of this book? Or are they not writing things with the thought and sensitivity that we would hope people would use today? right?
Yeah.
Like if it was, you know, maybe he was thinking of Asians or Middle Easterns when he was writing about the Easterlings. I don't know. I doubt it, but who knows? But it's not like the plot of the book is these people who are stand-ins for Asians are awful people and we are going to destroy them. It's sort of like a, does that make sense? Like, it's
Yes.
not like the racism is the point of the book.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct of the time it was written in.
Yes, and also I think maybe just saying that there are people in the East, and that creates a certain, like if I'm reading in that time when I hear people from the East, there's a certain image that my mind creates based on what I know, what I've heard, what people say, and I have like this idea of what these people are, and they're not like real people. They're, you know, the culture that is foreign, and they, you know, you can pretty much project whatever you want onto them because you don't know them. That makes sense,
true.
Rosie. Yes, it does. Okay. We went deep early on.
We did.
Let me just check that baking powder is what I think it is in Russian. Yes, it is. Okay. So let's go for the questions. Rosie asked me, what would hobbits eat if they were Russian? And I like froze. I don't know. I feel like they probably would eat pretty much how we eat, honestly, because we're very like traditional in our cuisine. Maybe they have, I think, a little more like vegetables in their nutritional diet. I mean, we also have a lot of vegetables, but a lot of them are just not fresh. They are canned and what is that word I'm looking for?
Pickled?
Yes, pickles.
Like with like vinegary and like stuff?
Yes. So I don't think it's too different. I would say that I can imagine them loving blini, which are kind of like the French crepes.
Okay.
That's like a very Russian dish. I think they would love it because you can put all kinds of stuff on it, butter and like sour cream. What do people eat it with? Like anything, really. I can see them really vibing with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Amy said that is a good point. For example, Agatha Christie says some pretty racist things in her Poirot books, but they're not the focus of the book, so I can deal. Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes those things pull me out of the story, and I start to think about the author, which I don't like doing that in books. Like, I want to be immersed in the story. I don't want to think of the circumstances of the book. That makes sense? The person writing it. Great question. Potatoes, says Sam. We do like potatoes. We're not, I don't think, are we? I'm just thinking, I know that like people in Ireland, when I was looking up Irish recipes, there's a lot of potato stuff, and I think they call themselves, like, there's just a lot of potatoes in Ireland and in the recipes. It's like a cultural thing. I don't think it's quite as big and cultural in Russia, but we do love potatoes. Yeah.
They are really
pickled,
great.
yes, they are. And I think this climate is good for potatoes. And so they are great. New idea, do the books intimate, no, wait, I can't read. Intimate, is that the word? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, some regional difference between the Shire and Buckland cuisine.
I feel like they do, but I couldn't tell you how off the top of my head. That would be an interesting thing to...
to look, like when you're reading it, just really keep an eye on it.
Don't tempt me, Margaret. I want to reread them again enough already.
I mean, maybe, but they're also not that far apart. I think it's true. Maybe like when I think about, for example, even like Ukrainian culture, Russian culture, and Belarusian culture, we have like the western part of Russia. We have pretty much access to the same ingredients because we're similar climate. but it's just the way we prepare things is different. Like the way we season things is different. So I think maybe it's similar there. It's not too
maybe with just like some different like spices or something, because Buckland has like more people coming through. So like the same, the same vegetables, the same meat and stuff. But yeah, like maybe Buckland would use more like, ooh, we've got a tomato. Or
it has more trade.
Yeah.
So they may have more fun foreign stuff.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like hobbits are very much like, in the Shire especially, like really local, like what you grow here is what you eat.
Yeah. Potatoes were important to Ireland to feed the poor from the New World. Okay, I know nothing about history of food, so I'm just going to continue on and read it on some later time. Implied, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know that word. At least I didn't know you could use that. Okay, my boss is Russian, and for her birthday, one of my coworkers made her this cake that was like a ton of thin layers. I could see the hobbits eating that. There is a very big chance that those layers where the blin is. Like if you just put a lot of crepes on top of one another, you can make that. I'm actually so curious to see if that was the cake I'm thinking of. But yeah, I think they would really vibe with that. I like the trade route theory. Trade changes everything. To me, the Shire and Buckland are maybe like England and Ireland, Scotland, so very similar, but some slight differences. Yeah, I mean, as a culture, they're very similar. I don't know how potatoes got to Russia. Me too. Hello, Kieran. Welcome. I need to start cooking. Okay, and my question to Rosie was back at you with Canadian hobbits. What would Canadian hobbits eat? Just maple syrup on everything.
I think on the whole, they'd probably eat pretty similar things to like what they eat in the Shire. I don't see hobbits going for like a lot of the modern like convenience food, fast food stuff that we see a lot of in like Canada today. So even though it's an iconic dish, well, I was about to say I can't see hobbits eating poutine, but then I was like, nah, they'd be all about that shit. It would just be like really artisanal poutine. It wouldn't be like, frozen fries and like canned gravy. It would be,
that would be
hand cut
cuisine.
Potatoes. Yeah. The Shire hobbits would be like, this cheese curd was made from my cow. I milked it yesterday morning and now I'm serving it to you.
Yes. And this is what I'm thinking, Margaret, back to your question. This would be the difference between Buckland and Shire. Shire, that would be more like, this is my backyard with my little like potato and the things that I eat that come from my land. And then Buckland would take all those things and make like some artistic choices and like, let's use those ingredients and make something different because, there are traders here and maybe people from other parts of the world who cook differently, and they would do stuff with the local ingredients and make poutine. I don't remember hobbits eating seafood. That's Canadian, right? At least on the coast.
That's true. We do eat a lot of seafood in the coastal areas.
They have rivers, isn't?
Yeah, I guess they'd have like river fish and stuff, like trout and carp and stuff. But yeah, I can't like see a hobbit eating a lobster. Although they would be all about that shit if they were like on the east coast of Canada. They would. Yes, hobbits would love the sort of lobster boils that like family friends put on, and like you're just in a backyard with
a hobbit holding a lobster, and I cannot. Just cannot.
That's true because they're so small.
Yeah,
the lobster be like huge compared to them.
How do I eat this child? I googled the cake. It's a Russian honey cake, medovik. Yes, this is a different cake that I was thinking of, but yeah, that one is good. So good. It has a lot of honey. Hobbits, the OG organic farm to table chefs. Yes.
It's true. They're like hipsters, but not pretentious.
They're in the original Whole Foods. Imagine a hobbit holding a lobster. Yep. Amy. Okay, so we did that. Let's go to your second question. Oh, and I went to the recipe. Like, sift together the flour. Like, that's not a question. How old were you when you first saw the movies, and which member of the fellowship was the hottest? I remember distinctly that the books that I read before watching the movies had the actors on the cover. And I think the first movie came out in 2001. So it must have been after 2001. So I maybe was like 10 years old when I saw the first one. I don't remember watching the second one. And I watched this third one when it came out. And my favorite, the hottest member of the fellowship is Aragorn.
Okay, even when you were that age. So even when you were like, okay.
I mean, there are no children there. Who else is there?
To Beth Ann recently about how, like, for both Beth Ann and I, when we were like 12, when we first saw the movies, it was like Legolas. Legolas is the hottest person ever. Those movies started an Orlando Bloom crush for me. And then as I got a bit older, it was like, oh no, okay, Aragorn's the hot one. Like,
I don't know what is it about me. I mean, I can see that Legolas is, quite something to look at. But I remember preferring Aragorn, and then when I realized that everyone else liked Legolas, I became even more obsessed with Aragorn because I was like, you know nothing. Let me tell you, this is a man right there. I don't know. I think because he seems more fun than Legolas. Legolas is too it's too serious.
He's pretty. It's like
he's very pretty, but kind of. I mean, I can see me like laughing with him for hours. I can really see me and Aragorn laughing for hours, to be honest. But he just seems more alive.
Amy raises a good point that Faramir is her dream man, and like that's a good point. Also, I think Éomer is highly underappreciated. Carl Urban with the hair on a horse, like
yes,
that's.
I mean, that's not the fellowship, but yes. And let's put into that a hot circle. What is his name? Richard.
Oh, the guy who plays Thorin. Yes.
The guy who plays Thorin. And I realized how hot he was when I saw the press for the movie. So him not being dressed as a dwarf. And I was like, oh, okay. Who did he play in the movie? I don't remember him from the movie. Was that guy? Okay, let's see. So Amy liked Legolas when she was 11, and her sister also liked Aragorn, but that rough look don't work for me. I don't know. It worked for me.
Both. He can do both.
I think so. I think that's what I like. He's like regal. But he also, he's like cool, but he doesn't act cool. He's not trying to be cool. He's like, I'm this like homeless person.
I look flawless, but also
I carry this, $1 million sword, but I live on the streets. Not pretentious. But in the books, actually, Aragorn is so pretentious. It's hilarious. Whenever I remember there's a scene, I think in the Two Towers when they come to Rohan. And when they're about to enter, the guards have some problems with them. They're like, who are you? He's like, I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn. And the Gimli and Legolas are just like, calm down. Oh my God. You need to calm down.
Too.
Like, we get it. Oh my God. Tolkien taught medieval Welsh in Leeds University, so you need to get that Welsh food and culture into your veins. There's so much, different parts of, I want to say England, but I guess it's all of the, not even just the UK, but I think there's even Scandinavian stuff in the cultures that he created in the Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's still a very like small part of the world, but there's so many different little differences that he caught in there that's so interesting, because he studied folklore and all that medieval stuff. And I read an article that he was the one who really championed for, oh my god, I'm not gonna mess it up. Beowulf, is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it anyway.
To be actually looked at seriously, like as a serious literary work, and he did the translation, and I don't know what happened before that, but from what I understand, it wasn't really. It didn't have a lot of literary acclaim before he actually championed for it. So yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Okay, where am I? Amy said Legolas is the prettiest in the Fellowship, but my dream Lord of the Rings man is Faramir. Amy, yeah, I mean, there's so many of them. I feel like they're all different flavors. They're all good. Yes, where are the links? Yay, Faramir, Éomer, yes. Armitage. No. No, that's not right. Welsh rarebit is hobbit food for days. I need to Google that. I'm gonna screenshot this and Google it later. I'm a huge Armitage.
Hot Richard.
Richard. Can we have some North and South Lord of the Rings crossover?
I need to read and watch North and South. It's this TV show that Richard Armitage is in, and he's super hot in it as well, because he doesn't have like 5 million pounds of facial hair.
You see, I did not know what this was about. I need to check it out. And I mean, his height too in his real life, the fact that it was stripped away from him in The Hobbit, and he did such a great job, and like, and you don't, like, I feel like some people take some characteristics of the way they look very, like, it's a big part of how they present themselves, and not having that and still having that presence on screen. Incredible. Milena, hi lovelies. I'm going to have dinner now, but just want to say hi. You look so lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Milena. And bon appetit. I'm so mad that English doesn't have a phrase for that. Bon appetit, because every other language.
The French one.
I always have, like, I need to say it because I say it in real life all the time. And every time I talk to an English person, I'm just like,
what's the Russian?
Have fun. Приятного аппетита, which is pretty much the same as like, have a good appetite. I always want to say something. I'm all for that crossover. Who would stand in for Margaret Bilbo? I mean, I don't know the show, so I don't know who Margaret is.
Yeah, I don't either.
But let's say yes. Tara, hi. I can say, but want to say hi. Happy baking. Thank you, Tara. Nicholas is definitely Mary. Again,
it's making me want to read this book and watch the show, so
I'm definitely watching it. If Richard isn't it, I don't know what this is. Okay.
Oh, is that like the Japanese one or something? Like the equivalent of Bon Appetit, or the Russian phrase that I'm not going to try and repeat? Maybe.
I don't know.
Margaret, confirm in the comments.
I will screenshot this as well for later. I'm doing a lot of research after this. We need to do a North and South buddy read. Yes, because we definitely need to know what's going on in this chat. Classic Victorian Elizabeth Gaskell romance, and yes, that's Bon Appetit in Japanese. Noted.
Okay.
Itadakimasu.
Okay.
I hope that's correct. Yes. Yes. I mean, I remember Amrita doing a video when she talked about adaptations and how North and South had a great adaptation, and I was just like, I'm gonna watch the movie, but now I might actually read it. Transliteration from memory is eat a ducky mouse.
Why do I want to eat a ducky mouse? A ducky mouse sounds adorable.
What would ducky mean in this context? Like a cute?
Typo for... I'm confused.
What is ducky? I just see like a duck. It's like a mouse that looks like a duck.
Yeah, that's exactly where my brain went.
Okay. We're not gonna question that.
No.
Okay.
Question for you related to the recipe.
Yes.
Are you skipping the chili pepper?
Yes.
I thought you.
I love that you know that. Yes, I was actually gonna talk about this. Doesn't mean anything. Just to remember how to say it. Oh.
Okay, that makes so much more sense.
Because it's a dekimasu. It's a dekimasu.
Dekimasu. Okay.
I thought it was actually okay. Never mind. It's about like labor reform and workers' rights. What more can you ask for? I mean, I also.
Amy, why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to my TBR?
You know that this is the thing that would like be Rosie's thing. Me knowing that it's a romance worked as well. Okay, in the recipe, the things that I am changing, I am doing the whole flour, half of it plain flour, half of it whole wheat flour. I am using cheese, not the vegetarian equivalent. And I'm not including parsley because I don't like parsley.
Fair. I didn't include parsley either because I can only buy it in like huge, like you could give this to someone as a bouquet amounts of parsley. And I'm like, yes. I know it's just going to get slimy in my fridge if I buy that much parsley, so we'll skip it. I have some cilantro I could throw in maybe, but I think I'll just skip leaves. I don't know.
I think I hate cilantro more than I hate parsley. I'm a very picky eater, like very picky. So yeah. Other thing. Oh, buttermilk. We don't really have buttermilk, so I'm using what we would call kefir.
Nice.
I mean, I remember in New York in Whole Foods I saw kefir, and I was like, oh, does it exist in the US too? Is it the same one? I don't know. It's like sour milk type.
Is the Russian kind of like fizzy?
No.
Like when you drink it. Oh, okay. Because the kefir that I've had in Canada, at least, is like horrible yogurt. Like it's thicker than milk, but thinner than yogurt. And like it's got like almost like it's very weird. It sounds like it would be odd, but I quite like it. It's like, yeah, it looks like fizzy yogurt.
It is more liquidy than yogurt, but it's not fizzy, no. Oh, here's more critique of the author. Cheese is vegetarian, by the way, cookbook author. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He is getting roasted. I use dried parsley. Yeah, I mean, those are easier to handle than buying fresh.
True.
Buttermilk substitute I always use since it spoils too fast. Milk with a teaspoon of lemon juice. Let's let it bubble a bit.
That's what I usually do because, yeah, I don't, but I'm making this today and then tomorrow I'm making waffles for brunch. So I actually had 2 recipes in one weekend that used buttermilk and I was like, I'll actually buy some. Support the elusive buttermilk industry. Like,
it really needs you.
Yeah, it does. I buy more dairy.
I make a lot of soda bread since I first made it. And it needs buttermilk, and I always use kefir because it's just easy to get. And I don't have like normal milk. I buy oat milk, so it's just easier to buy this.
That makes sense.
Amy, are you baking the Lembas breads too? I'm sitting and doing other Saturday internet tasks. I'm still lying in bed. Oh.
That's totally fair because you guys are on the West Coast.
You do you.
Not that late for you guys.
Yeah, it's like 7 p.m. here. Oh my god, we've been doing this for almost an hour already. It's not even in the oven. I was telling Rosie how, this recipe, it says that it has to cook for like 30 minutes. So if we start the live with all the ingredients ready to go, we quickly mix, put it in the oven, we have 30 minutes to do all the questions, and then have like 20 more minutes to talk about the results and whatever. And it's not going as planned.
I was so like, last night I was like, I'm going to be so prepared. I'm going to have my cheese grated. I'm going to have my pepper chopped.
Now.
Like, no, I was like 2 minutes before and I was like, I got a grease pan because then I'll have greasy
I literally just came home right before this, so I'm not ready. Okay.
I'm always rushing to get my like Saturday chores done before, like I love scheduling lives for like lunchtime on Saturday because it's just enough of a deadline to be like, right, you got to try and get everything done before that. But then I'm always rushing and like running in at the last minute.
Amy says, I'm actually in Central Time Zone, but I don't like to do things before noon on weekends.
Fair.
That's very fair. That's no fun. Texas. Dry parsley is just a random pantry. I almost said party. Pantry ingredient along with dried thyme, oregano, and basil.
I don't know why I never buy it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should be buying dried parsley.
I don't use spices. Any kind of spices. I don't like them. Okay. Let's move on. What's next? Oh, you never answered your own question. When was the first time you watched the movies, and who did you think was the hottest one?
Oh, I think I was probably 11 or 12 when I first saw it. And yeah, 100% at first it was all about Legolas. And I remember my mom at the time telling me like, oh, when you're an adult, you'll prefer Aragorn. And I was like, no, never, never. Give me my pretty boy. And now as an adult, I'm like, I hate to say it, but yeah, you were totally right.
There's something about Aragorn.
Yeah.
I think actually right now, adult Lana, if I think of them as like actual people with actual personalities, I think I would go with Faramir because Aragorn is a lot. I feel like there's a lot of ego.
You have to be ready to be like his partner. You know, like it'd be like dating like some very good, nice person, but like who's got a huge high-profile job and like everyone loves him, and you've got to be like, am I about that life?
Like a warrior princess to be on the same level, because there will always be that imbalance of like, also he's like 80 in the book, so there's also that kind of, I'm very wise. I'm sorry, it's not that you're stupid, it's just I'm very wise. I don't think I would vibe with that.
Who's always right is awful.
No. I like to be smart. Gotcha. As part of my cleaning up the old homestead, I just finished the pantry overhaul. So many spices, no basil. It's not great dried, but none in the garden. Oh, we buy like little pots of fresh basil, and it lasts for like 2 weeks before they dry and die. Yeah, but it's cheap. I am lazy, and dried spices are convenient. Amen.
It's true.
I was like 20 and crushed on Legolas. Don't be ashamed. Everyone loved. I mean, he is.
I mean, he's still a very attractive man. Just not.
It's funny to see the difference between Orlando Bloom in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Because like in The Hobbit, I'm way more on board with Legolas. I think he looks more my age. He has like a wider neck. There's more of a jaw. I don't know.
He was super young when he filmed Lord of the Rings. I want to say he was like maybe like 18 or 19 when they started filming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that my preteen brain was like, he was like the age of like a boy band member, right?
Yeah.
Boy band member for nerd girls.
Yeah, you kind of like, I feel, I was thinking about this recently, that like when you're, for example, at the age of like 13, when you go into a room, you immediately like, my eye would pick up people that are around my age. and I would care about those people, like whether it be like boys or girls. These are people that I want to be liked by, that I care about their opinion. If it's like a 30-year-old woman, like I don't care if she doesn't like my outfit, but like this teenage girl better not judge me. Or like that boy might notice me.
I think part of my brain got stuck at that age, like especially with the judgment part. Because I'm like, if another 20-something woman doesn't like what I'm wearing, I'm like, whatever, cool, I'm wearing it for me. Like, but like, I'm so intimidated by groups of teenage girls. Like, I'm always like,
fight of teenagers.
Oh my god, you're all. How are you all so particular? Why are you not a mess? You're probably don't bully me.
I know. I'm terrified. Even like going down the street and there's like a very cool cafe and there's like a group of, let's say they're like 16, 17. They're all dressed so cool, like so cool in a way that I would never have been able to. Like, it's kind of like, you know, when you look at Topshop, for example, their clothes always look so weird and wacky. Like, who would wear this except for like Miley Cyrus, maybe? And then you see these kids in like these very trendy things that probably will not last a season. And I just get so scared. I'm just like, no, look at me.
Yeah,
I am cool too. There's more basil dialogue in the chat. I'm so glad you bonded over basil. There is something that happens with teenage dudes transforming to manhood that completely changes the slender elvish lines to troll-like. See Robert Sean Leonard, that poet's Much Ado. Listen, but then you look at, I don't know the name of this guy who played Legolas's dad.
Lee Pace. Yes.
Lee fucking Pace. This is, you know, I'm not gonna say anymore, just hate, I think, is proof that it can be done. They don't all have to look 18.
True.
I think in the elves, it's more like long lines. When I think of like ballet dancers, it's like very long muscles. They're not bulky. They're refined. Even if they're very muscled and strong, there's still that kind of elegance and the way they hold themselves. Be like,
just hearing you talk about this makes me want to go like, what?
Yes. I used to work in teen services in the public library. Teens can be quite hilarious. Oh yeah.
You're a great one.
So beautiful. Yes, he is. Yeah, I think it's more about like grace.
Yeah.
And how you carry yourself. I'm going
this
to
is why
cook.
I'd never be an elf. I feel like
I want to be human because I feel like I have space to be as troll-like as I want. And if I want to turn into an elf. Wait, next question.
Oh, I had a question that Amrita sent me on Instagram.
Go ahead.
What is one thing you would like to eat from Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth, but sounds way too complicated to ever make?
Food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of like dishes that like
That's fair.
Complete stuff, but I think about, for example, the first thing that came to mind, remember, at least in the movie, when the hobbits went to Rivendell and they were complaining that it's all just leaves.
Yeah.
Because they were like, where's the meat? I wonder what kind of cool salads you could get at Rivendell. Like very cool salads. Maybe some like spinach leaves with iceberg leaves with strawberries and olive oil. Maybe.
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm with some nuts on top. Just like something so fresh and so green. I just love it. We also love the combination of like having pears in salads.
Yes.
With cheese. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where were we? Props to the design and costume departments for Thranduil's. I can't say the words you write, Margaret. Is it cache?
I would say cash, but
Cache.
I mispronounce a lot of words because I learned a lot of words from reading and then have no idea how to pronounce them.
Same, but I also, this is not my first language.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Worse. I laughed at those memes of teenage Legolas being embarrassed by his drama queen father. Oh, yeah. I can't remember any of the food from Bilbo's party, but there must be some mention. There is a mention of the cake. There's
True.
a big mention of how big the cake was because it was one cake for the whole Shire. And there's actually, yeah.
I feel like my answer for Amrita's question would actually be kind of a cop-out of like some of those Hobbit meals, like the one that's described in The Hobbit when the dwarves show up and Bilbo's just like pulling everything he has out of the cupboard, or like Bilbo's birthday party where it's just like, yeah, no, any one component of this meal is not hard to make, but I'm never gonna cook 50 dishes. That's just not happening. So
yeah. Or like even in those, when I read books like that, which is I guess not often, but they sometimes describe a meal as something so simple. Like there's some cold cuts with some bread and like some fruit, and just it's so simple, but it sounds delicious. Like so simple, just like a piece of meat, a piece of like fresh bread, maybe a little butter on the, like it's so simple. It's not a complicated dish, but just the combination and its simplicity makes me salivate.
And especially when you're reading about it, and because you're not actually eating it, you're imagining like the nicest bread you can, and like the nicest and the best cold cuts you've ever had, and just like, oh yes, I want all of these at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure that if I actually ended up there are a lot of things that I would just be like, no thank you, no thank you. But again, I'm very picky, so I always imagine whatever I would like most. I've always seen myself being at home with the dwarves with their darkness and love of money and beer and meat. Amy, I'm obsessed with you. I hate preparing meat because it's too hard to do well. Well, this is why you have the dwarves. You can be the Snow White to these dwarves. It's like with their darkness and love of money and meat. It's just the best. Oh my god, and like the elves would be like an airy castle with salads and water. Oh, that's such a good example. Not example, I don't know words anymore.
Answer? Yeah.
Imagery. There you go.
Yeah.
So I would pick whatever the dwarves have at their feasts. Yeah, I think I'm also not a big like beer, like alcohol in general person, and especially beer. So I think I would not do well with the dwarves.
Same.
And also because they're underground so much and they love meat, I imagine that's a lot of cured meat and meat packed with a lot of like spices and stuff to make it last longer. I don't do well with that. So I think that would not be me. Okay. Sorry, there's two meanings. As in hoard, cash, and cachet, as in chicness, kashai. It's okay, Margaret. We learned new words. Thank you. Dwarves food. Beer first, next, and last. I'm thinking stalactite juice for flavor. Stalagmite? Wait. Stalagmite? Again, Margaret. Oh my god. Stalactite, I think, because they drip down. I don't know. Thank you. Not cleaning a whole cave system for all of it. You can sing a very motivating song for them to clean. This could be you.
It could.
You know that vine, like this could be us, but you play it.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got mine about to go in the oven. This is what it looks like at this point for visual reference. The lighting is terrible, but
ooh,
that's what mine came out.
Green stuff is what?
Jalapeno.
Oh.
I didn't want to buy red chili peppers because I never know how spicy they're going to turn out. And the ones at my grocery store are always just like red chili. And I'm like, cool. Is this a red chili where if I put like a tiny bit, I'm going to explode my head? Or is this like red chili, I need to put 5 of them to achieve any spice? So I just got jalapenos because I know how hot they are.
I don't think I ever had jalapeno in my life.
Which, fair, because you're not a spice person.
I'm not a spice person. But I wonder if it's different, if I'll feel the different tastes, or it'll just be like, hot and other hot stuff. Okay, those are drippy things that grow down from the top of caves made of minerals. Not a cave expert. Yeah, one of those, I know that one of them is stalagmite, another is stalagmite, based on if they are coming from up and down and growing from the top or growing from the bottom because the water drips down and then grows up, but I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah, I can never remember either.
Jalapeno cornbread is a classic. Is it? Is it a classic?
I guess so.
In the US? In the American continent? Oh, so maybe the author, I mean, he is Scottish. Why would he?
Yeah.
Interesting. I avoid them too. Stalagmites or jalapenos? I don't like spicy things. It's just me. Wait, what am I supposed to do next? Mix the oil, eggs. Do I do it a separate bowl?
Mine says to do it in a separate bowl.
I am all over the place. Okay, I've made too much cheese. I'm gonna put more cheese in.
Yes. More cheese is like always good.
Okay, let's do the next one. So I'm gonna ask you questions so you talk while I make stuff because otherwise
I will talk.
Where is it? Let's go one of my questions. Oh, this is fast. I don't know. Here we go. What is something about the mythology or story or setting that you could never understand from The Lord of the Rings or that confused you?
This is one that like confused me for a really long time. And I sort of understand now, but I was right to be confused because the answer is ridiculous. And it's this whole thing where the elves can sail off and go to Valinor and like live in elf heaven, but like the humans can't. And like I'm a very literal minded person, so I was always sort of like, what magic barriers stop humans? How does this work? What's going on with this? And then I was watching a YouTube video or listening to a podcast or something that like it's confusing because it makes no sense. Valinor is no longer on the continent or like on the planet that's Middle Earth. It's like,
aren't they like? Isn't their power based in Valinor?
Yeah, so it's like it used to be like a flat Earth with like Valinor on one side and Middle Earth on the other, and then in the Second Age, men were being idiots, and the what are they called? The gods, basically, were like, bad men. We told you not to come, and you came and tried to invade anyways. This was very bad of you. So they do this weird thing where it goes from being a flat Earth to being a round Earth, except now where the gods live, Valinor, is like no longer on the planet. So you see these weird ass illustrations when people try and like explain what's happening, but like the elves sort of just like sail off the side of the planet and like through space, but on water. And even seeing the illustrations, I'm still like, Tolkien,
is
gotta
that
work this out.
Where they're going in like the gray heavens?
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yeah. and it's like only certain people can like make this journey, and if anyone else tries to take this route, they'll just like go around the planet.
So my question is, do you think, first of all, this is too big? Is this too big?
Oh, I would do you have like something smaller with higher sides?
This is too small?
No, that would be what I would use, I think. Or
yeah?
It might be slightly small, but something more like the glass one. Yes, that looks good.
Yay. I was always confused with the way they died, to be honest. Like, where are they going? But like, are they actually dead? Like, why would Frodo go with them if he has like a mortal
Do you want
injury?
me to geek out for like 5 minutes while you do some cooking? Because I will 100% do that.
Please do.
So the elves get to go to this place called Valinor, which is also called the Undying Lands. But it's not called the Undying Lands because people don't die there. It's called that because the people who live there don't die. So basically, it's like a really happy retirement home for the elves. It's a weird way to say it, but like, it's obviously more complicated. But this is where like the gods live. And the elves get to go there and like live in peace and happiness, and like there's no war and there's no sickness and there's no death, and basically we all go live in happy elf utopia. So the elves get to go there, but the men aren't allowed to go there because people were stupid like 2,000 years ago and tried to attack.
So they're punished for it.
Yeah. And it was also like a source of confusion. The like early men didn't understand that they would die if they went there. They thought it was like this magical place where if we go there, we will never have death. And they threw a hissy fit about this. And Frodo gets to go. He's not going to live forever when he's there, but basically he'll live with like peace for his, remaining days, and live in this place that's like magical and full of like super like just like I imagine it like kind of like a resort or like a really nice retirement home where everything's just like lovely and happy and taken care of, and like so he like I think the idea is that because he'll be with the gods and all of this stuff, he's not going to feel the pain, but he's also not going to live forever. He's just sort of in hospice. And okay, Amy mentioned in the comments that like Legolas took Gimli, and yes, and I'm going to keep geeking out here. Tell me when to stop. Legolas wasn't supposed to bring Gimli, but he kind of went rogue and was like, "He's my buddy. I'm bringing him with me." And they got there, and the Valar, the gods, were like, "He's a dwarf. He's not allowed in. He like hit the road." But then Galadriel went to the Valar and was like, "No, this is like the best dwarf there has ever been. You don't understand how great this dwarf is. Like, do it as a favor for me." And so they were like, "Okay, he can come."
This is the best dwarf. Listen, like this is the best dwarf. This is the perfect dwarf. I found him. He gets to stay. How do you know about what Legolas does? Is it in the other books with the history?
Yeah, I think I don't think I've actually seen that one in a book. I think it's talked about in like some of the unfinished works or something. Oh. And then I've probably heard it in like a podcast or in a YouTube video or something. So this is very third-hand information, but
oh yeah, there's so many awesome YouTube videos that are just like, why is this happening and what happened there? And they give a lot of like background information that's not in the books. That's probably in other books, like from all over the place, and you sort of get a better idea of like, why did this happen? Amy, wait, she said something. I thought the Great Havens. Yes, this is the port. I meant like, where are they going from there?
Yeah.
Legolas took Gimli with him and he sailed west. what are the rules?
Basically, the end of all the people who go at the end are like, we're making a special exception. Okay, I'll try and explain the dying rules again. It's kind of weird. So elves don't die of natural causes. They can be killed.
Yeah.
You can like stab them or shoot them with an arrow or whatever, and they'll die. But they won't die of natural causes.
They live forever.
Yeah, they live forever. And the gods don't die. They're gods. So the Undying Lands, no one dies there because immortals live there. But when mortals go there, they die. And they actually, I think Tolkien wrote that they die faster because like the like magical mystical energy that makes everything perfect or whatever is like so powerful that you'll age more quickly, but you'll have like a perfect life while you do it. So
like a quick stop at the spa before you die. Maybe like the force stop from Star Wars here. The force of the elves is so intense that you don't feel pain. You're kind of like
it's like
high all the time.
It's perfect. But it like burns your life out faster, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
So that's why Frodo wanted to go, because it's too painful for him to live.
Yeah,
he'd rather die.
And he's gonna go be like somewhere where he can be at peace, not
and feel high.
Yeah.
Wait, let's look at the comments. I have more things to say about this. The appendix gave me a lot of feels. I didn't read the full appendix, so I still have to do that. There's so much information. There is that I have. Like all of this is the appendix that I still have to read. There's so many interesting things here about the languages and the history. And actually it was one of the first things was just going very quickly through the history of Middle Earth, like First Age, blah, 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 blah. Second Age, blah, 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 blah. And that helped me so much. But yeah, I just need to organize it in my head, because every time I walk away from it, I forget. And then I have to relearn everything again. Like if it's not something you constantly interact with, it's gone. Also, Grey Havens, same as Valinor.
No. The Grey Havens are like where you leave from to go to Valinor. And there's a special elf shipmate, Círdan, who lives there and like makes the boats that take people to Valinor.
You know so much, Rose. You're gonna win all the quizzes. Never read.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, I still need to do that. It's not annoying. It's very useful because I know nothing. Yes.
Yes.
Part is in the appendix. Yeah, I need to read that. Love the color tabs. Thank you. Let me show this again.
Yes.
So all the 3 books together. I went wild when I started reading this, because I've been rewatching the movies for years, and there's so many things in the movies that I'm just like, but there's like this little plot hole that I don't understand, and so many things were answered in the books, obviously, and I'm just like, oh, this is the thing. I'm like, oh, this is the thing that changed. There was just so many things, and I would just highlight everything. Will I ever find anything? No. But
it looks
I got really excited, and every time someone was funny, I also tapped. I was highlighting the whole thing. Lol, Rosie, I get that way about Lord of the Rings too. Okay, this is what I have. I need to spread it around.
I hate to say this because you've already got that one dirty, but your smaller one actually might have been better. I'm sorry.
It's okay. This way, it's thinner. It'll cook faster.
True, actually. My unexpert opinion would be don't put it in for a full 30 minutes at that depth. Mine was probably twice as thick in the pan, like from the size. So probably like 20 minutes or something.
In the recipe, how thick it needs to be? No. It says prepared, mixture into prepared tin. That's no information, author. It's giving me nothing.
Yeah, mine's just an 8-inch square pan, but.
Okay, so here's the thing. Rosie has the actual physical book. I have the ebook, and it's different. The recipes are different.
And it's so, and like some of the stuff, like mine for this one, it said half a pint of buttermilk. I'm like, I'm sorry, Americans, but what the fuck is a pint? I looked at Lana's ingredients and like just put in the amount of buttermilk. There's like, I don't just have a pint measurer. I have a milliliter measurer.
I always, when I hear pint, I see like a medieval tavern, like a pint.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's correct.
Beer by the pint or cider by the pint at the bar, but I don't just have like a, here's my half pint measuring cup.
Oh my god. I vote for that big pan because Lembas bread looks about that thick in the movies.
Okay.
We don't use pints.
Must be a British thing then, I guess.
I think honestly, what I'm learning from this author is like of a country and culture in of itself. Like it's a separate thing. He is from his own country. I think a pint is 2 cups. 2 cups of alcohol. That's a lot. No,
oh, yeah.
It's like 500 milliliters, like half a liter.
Yeah, it's they're a big glass.
Cool. That's for them Brits. Okay, finally everything is in the oven. I set timer for 30 minutes. Hopefully nothing burns. I mean, I'm keeping my eye on it.
Yeah.
Where are we? So this is something that you did. This is the thing that you didn't understand about mythology. I'm trying to remember where we were. I think this is the same thing that confused me a lot because it's just like, where are they going? And also like with the thing with the elves, the fact that they never die in my head. That's like, how did you do this for so many years and you're not overpopulated? Because like, it's a lot of
it's true.
It's a lot of people. But then again, how much do they recreate?
I think he sort of addresses that in some of the like unfinished stuff where he talks about like most elf women only in their like lives have like 1 or 2 babies because it's like so much effort goes into creating an elf baby. But it's just like, okay, dude, you realized you'd written yourself into a problem with immortal beings, and we're like, they just don't have many kids, it's fine.
But then like this is a time before like
exactly
and stuff.
Like,
that's a sad life. Eternal life.
I know.
What? That just sounds weird. You know how the way I see a way out of this problem is a lot of like gay relationships within the elf community.
Yes.
Like you want a child, fine. Here's your like official wife. Do what you must. You want to have fun? Here are all the guys. I don't know. It just, maybe, I mean, I would guess that if there is a thing like, oh, we're eternal, one day we're all gonna go to the Valinor spa, it still would not be in like 100 years. I think it would be at least 200 years. Still, that's a lot. I mean, they are, I always thought of elves as in, since you have such a long life, you probably, I always think of Italian. So it's so weird. Like in Italy, generally things happen very slowly compared to, for example, like Russia. Like they start school a little later, they finish school later. Their university is not like 4 years or like 6 years. Like you have a set of exams. You take your time with them. A lot of people live with their parents for a very long time. A lot of like Italian men love their moms because they live with them for so long. They don't marry until pretty late. And like having a child in their 20s is like very rare. I mean, more prevalent now. But and as like a culture, because it's so hot, they are slower. I remember a lot of people when one of my languages in university was Italian, and my group mates would go there to study for like a semester or something. They would come back and just be like, why are we rushing all the time? Let's just like relax, go to a cafe. And I'm like, this is not the rhythm here. Like you have to do stuff. You have like places to be and things to do. And it's just quieter, and there's like a siesta, and it gets quiet after lunch. If you go, when I worked in Milan, I was going crazy with the way like banks operated, the times that they were open, just like 2 hours per day, then 3 hours lunch. Like, what? No, why aren't you open 24/7? Like I'm used to. So when I think of like elves, and I think that plus 1,000, like a very slow life, not a lot of excitement. So I think the way they fall in love, the way they think of families is also not the way we do it, as in like we don't have a lot of time. There's also like with biology, when like we can have kids, like there's so many things that come into how we deal with relationships in life, with our family, with future families, whatever. I think if you take that away, what does that create? What kind of life and mentality does that do? So I don't know. Are you
that's
less
a really
passionate
good
then?
point.
Are you not like chasing all kind of passion while you have it, while your hormones
you
demand
know
it?
you've got time. There's no rush.
Yeah. I don't know. When does purity come for elves? In like 100 years? They don't need it. Like they need it, but they don't really need it. So who knows? These are things that I think like very practical moments. I don't see elvish and other societies caring as much about gender when it comes to sexual preference. Same. I think again, because it's so eternal, like you don't really care about these things at all. I studied abroad in Ghana, and everything moved slowly, and everyone was late for everything, even speaking engagements. Yes, I mean, I'm very generalizing Italy right now, but generally compared to like even Russia, yes. And I think that's true of most countries that are in like a very warm climate. You'd have to wait forever for your food when you would have to eat. Well, no, Italians are good about food. Like food is sacred in Italy. That's the one thing they're never late for is food. Do you think a broad generalization could be made about needing to control things like time in more uptight societies?
That's a good question. I feel like there is an element. That's also a good question. I feel like there is an element of like, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do it, but you need everyone on the same track. Like if half of your society is like, right, I'm always on time, I'm always here early, everything, and the other half of your society is going, it's chill, I'll be there when I'm there, that's not gonna work. So yeah. I wonder if because, I don't know, Protestants maybe, in North America, we tend to be kind of like on time. We need to like make everyone else be on time too, because otherwise that causes conflict.
I don't know. That's very interesting. I'm trying to think of places where people are always on time. Japan, Switzerland, Germany.
Do I think of those as very like rigid societies because they're always on time, or are they always on time because they're kind of like
they need rules
societies? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking is my society, as in mine, as in like Russian society, uptight? Are we on time? I don't know. I would think so. I have no idea. This is a good question.
It is.
You're asking, Margaret. We don't know. Shared norms.
Yeah.
I think. Wait, I was gonna say something. Again, like with elves, if you take time out of everything, what does that do? How much is time part of why we make the decisions that we make? And I was thinking about, again, what Amy said about gender. Would they need marriages? Like, I don't think they do. Because, I mean, we already know that, like, monogamy is not the only healthy and like way to live your life. And monogamy
forever is
for like
That's
more than
that's a commitment.
100 years of not just, oh, we're going to be like active and healthy until, let's say, like 60, and then we're quiet, we move. Like, it's a very different type of relationship then, I think. But no, you're like young in body and healthy and active for 300 years. It doesn't make sense to me. Especially because when I think of like, where do marriages come from? It's part of like establishing a father figure for children, basically, so they don't run away. It's to have their responsibility. But I think elves are more like a community. Like, here's a child, run in the fields, in the forest, and we're all gonna raise it together as a community. Like, I don't think, even I think of Legolas and Thranduil, I think the fact that Legolas is his son means a lot because he's a prince. And if it weren't that, I don't know if parental, like, that relationship of a family is the same as what we think now, when we're like very sheltered in our family, like we're one unit. I think it's very more communal in the elf society. We're just all over the place, lounging around. It's very interesting with globalization, because I've seen friends whose companies work with companies abroad, and there is much confusion with meeting times. Oh yeah, I'm sure shared norms means less conflict, but who wants to give up mixing up? Society is exchange and interchange. Actually, a lot of people don't want it for it.
True.
Because it's hard. But
no, I'm in favor of interchange, but I think acknowledging that acknowledging where we have different shared norms makes that interchange and exchange easier, because we can be like, oh, your assumption here is this, my assumption here is this, let's find a way to make them meet up, instead of just being like, my Italian coworkers are so annoying, they're always late for everyone, and then like, my German coworkers are the worst, they're always on my case when I'm not even late. Right? Because you're like, oh, okay,
I think a lot of confusion always comes with the fact that you assume that other people operate the same way you do, have the same values, everything. And I think knowing the differences is good. And I can see conflict coming from, I don't know if there's a delegation that I need to talk to, and I know they have very specific norms of their own. Like, do I have to change my ways to fit theirs to not offend them? Or do I expect them to do it for me? I feel like that could be also a moment of like, who needs to adapt more?
Yeah.
These are all very complicated. We have some like fun questions about like canon relationships and shipping. We're talking about globalization and racism today. Okay. Maybe the elves have a set time for monogamous unions, like a contract. Like, in this 100 years, this is what I'm going to do. I'm like, oh, you're interested? Well, in like 5 years, let's talk about it. Renegotiate. Oh my God. I just don't see why they would need to negotiate and have contracts. I just don't see that for them. I don't know what that first word is.
If I recall correctly.
Ooh, I'm learning so much today. In Elven society, once you do the deed with someone, it's as good as marriage. I believe that's what happened with Galadriel and Celeborn. I don't know.
Which I think I've seen that in like a podcast or something, so that sounds right. But like, man, that's a level of commitment that like, I'm glad I'm not married to the first person I spent time with. That would have been a mistake.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
No, I don't like this. I do not accept.
New headcanon.
I'm going to say that Galadriel and Celeborn, this is like a celebrated love because it was forever and they were happy together forever, and that's why it's celebrated, because it usually doesn't happen. Because otherwise it wouldn't be weird. Like, it wouldn't be something special.
True.
No. But then it's weird that Legolas didn't have that.
maybe he was too young to have like met someone and like moved into that yet.
He young?
Well, he was old, but not for elves. Like he was born in the Third Age, I think. So
I need a timeline like of elves, like their lives. Like when is puberty? When is what?
Galadriel is over 10,000 years old.
Yikes.
I think Legolas and Arwen are both under 3,000.
Why did I picture Celine Dion when you mentioned Galadriel? I see her as like a wise woman. Like she's over 100 years old. Celine Dion. Sorry, continue.
So like she's really old for an elf, but then I think like the characters like Arwen and Legolas being like 2,000 or 3,000 years old and not having a partner yet isn't that unusual. I think they take like a lot of time to be like figuring out who I am as an elf. But that might be just because those are the characters we see and we need to like see them in a particular moment.
This is what I want to ask Tolkien.
Yeah.
Like what happens behind the like not the veil, what am I talking about? The things that we don't see. Tell us their actual lives. I had to look up if I remember correctly. Well, me too. Native tongue actually discusses this in terms of linguistics. Wait, what is this about? I'm so lost. Legolas is a lifelong bachelor.
Right, Amy, a lifelong bachelor.
And the fact that he then like goes away with Gimli, I'm just sad now knowing that like if they partner for life, he didn't find a partner. I mean, he found Gimli, so yay. Galadriel and Celeborn seem pretty independent, like they've gotten to grandparent stage, sleeping in separate bedrooms, at least from the movies. I have no memory of Celeborn from the book. I don't think they sleep. I remember in the books being like, oh, they don't sleep, they like do something with their minds. I do remember. I remember Legolas, he like rests his eyes or something, but he doesn't actually sleep.
They have separate meditation chambers.
Yes. This is very true. They don't need to be all over each other in public anymore. This is what I'm talking about. Are they ever all over each other if they don't have that kind of like body structure, if you will, that has these hormones that are like, this is the time while you're able to like have kids or whatever, this is the time you should be very interested in things. If they don't have that,
true,
would they ever be all over? Like, would they be passionate lovers? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe not, because they're like, let's take our time and just do
everything
whatever.
Is slow and graceful, and no one ever breaks a sweat.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. That is my process too. It's so fun reading this like after the thing we talked about because I have no idea what she's laughing at. But yes, discusses the shared norms in terms of delegations needing to be accommodated. Oh, that's what you mean. The native tongue. Interesting. Legolas just sits there and zones out instead of sleeping. Yes, he does Sudoku in his mind. Okay. We're so behind on everything. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna say the thing that I don't understand is the fact that Gandalf had a ring.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I don't understand why. I remember reading that he is one of the I don't know the name. It starts with an M, and he's actually from the same like race as Sauron.
Yes. Yeah.
But how did he get a ring?
Do you want me to geek out again?
Yes. This is a very niche live.
So there's like a lot of gods in Middle Earth, and there's like big G, like main gods, and then there's a lot of like what I call the little G gods. They're called like the Maiar, I think is what.
Sounds
I
like.
don't know. Anyway, and
gods.
There's lots of like, and they take like lots of different forms. So Gandalf is one of these little g gods, and so is Saruman, and Sauron was one of them who, like, when one of the big G gods became evil, Sauron, like, went with him, sort of like a Fall of the Angels type thing.
And his name was...
Yep.
What is his
Morgoth.
name?
Morgoth. Yes.
Morgoth. I love that name. I don't know why. I just love it. Morgoth.
It's so evil, right?
Yes.
So yeah, Morgoth becomes evil, and Sauron is, like, corrupted with him, but they're from, like, the same group. And then
Sauron is able to go to the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then Gandalf and 4 other of his, like, peers, so Saruman and then Radagast, and also the 2 blue wizards who disappeared into nowhere, and even Tolkien didn't know what happened to them.
Like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, they're sent to Middle Earth to, like, help fight the evil of Sauron. And help, like, protect Middle Earth, not, like, in a, like, leading armies way, but, like, shoring up the people of Middle Earth and, like, helping them fight back type thing. So they're sent, like, kind of undercover. The people of Middle Earth aren't supposed to know that they're gods. So that's why they're wizards. They're like, hey, we're not gods, we're wizards. We do wizard
So Radagast
stuff.
is also a goth. Okay, so here's my other question then. Is Lana going to check on her thinner bread early? No, I still have 8 minutes. I mean, it's doing stuff, but it looks fine. Does the gods then mean people having power? I don't think so, because all elves have power. No, they don't have power. Elves their power is their life. They don't actually have power.
The different gods have, like, different powers, so they don't, like, all have, like, you know, all powerful being type things. Gandalf can't just, like, be like, I'm gonna teleport. But, like, the magic that he uses, my understanding is that, like, that's part of his power, and, like, the stuff that he's able to do is part of his
access
power.
To stuff.
Yeah. Okay. And he gets the ring because when he arrives in Middle Earth, they arrive in the Grey Havens. And Círdan, the elf who builds ships, is, like, a super old elf. He's, like, one of the OG original elves of all time.
I wonder if he's married.
He's one of the ring bearers. So at that point, Círdan has a ring, and Elrond has a ring, and Galadriel has a ring. And Círdan is like, hey, Gandalf, I'm a pretty wise dude. I think you're going to have a pretty, like, rough go of this job you have. So I'm going to give you my ring to, like, help you protect Middle Earth.
What? So, Kiri person is one of, like, the 3 elf rings?
Yeah. Yes. And then he gives it to Gandalf to, like, help Gandalf do his Gandalf stuff.
Gandalf stuff. And I remember, if I remember this correctly, probably not. Sauron was actually part of the process of making the rings?
Yes, Sauron, like, he used to be able to, like, make himself seem not like an evil overlord, because the gods can, like, go and, like, whatever, they can look how they want. They can, like, present themselves to the world however they want. So there were these super, like, crafty elves who were, like, learning to make magic rings, and Sauron came in and was like, hey, I can help you make better magic rings. And I look like a beautiful elf, so, like, you're not going to suspect me. And he helped make some of the magic rings. And then he made the one ring, and, like, that's why he can control the others and stuff.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
this is what I was confused, because I remember that he was part of it, and the rings were created by elves, and I was like, is Sauron an elf?
Yeah. It was the classic.
So he's not an elf, he was just shapeshifting.
Yeah, he was, like, pretending to be someone trustworthy. And
Tolkien needs a hobby, I think. he should have like hiked or taken up golf. Like this is too complicated. Oh, this is my thought exactly.
The
This comment.
appendix, the other
I
like
need to read this.
huge amounts of notes that Tolkien left, and like his son made. Literally, Christopher Tolkien's I think entire career was just being like, I'm organizing and publishing my dad's notes.
I'm just like,
Which thank
how
you. I'm
did
glad
he
you did.
not get confused? Because this is not like a clean timeline. There's so many things, and this is what like when I want to one day read the Silmarillion, but again, every time I read. And then I have so many questions and I look things up and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Then I step away from it and it goes away. Again, I have a terrible memory, so this is a big part of it. But there's just like, I would want to go to Silmarillion after rereading Lord of the Rings, so I have an idea. And it just feels like I need to consume all these things together while I have them in my head.
It's, if you ever want like a project on this topic, there's a really good podcast called The Prancing Pony, and they go through the Silmarillion chapter by chapter and have like usually like 1 to 3 hours of podcast discussion about every chapter. So it is so much to get through. Oh, I did it last summer and it was like, I understand so much more now because you like read the chapter in the book and then go listen to like these experts talk about it, and like I found that really helped because like I'm reading it and then someone's explaining all the bits, and like when they explain it makes more sense. But like, oh my god, yeah, there's so much content. And bye, Margaret. Have a great day.
I think she couldn't handle all of the information. Like it's too early in the morning for this.
Fair.
Very fair. Oh, I'm smelling something. There is a smell.
I hope it's not
good. Cheese, I think.
Okay,
it's cheese. I can smell cheese. Okay, we did that. I
think we're ready for a fun question.
Yes, let's go for fun questions. There is no way teenage me understood everything. Yes, and when people like critique the movies and say like, but that's a little like it's not what happened. Actually, if you look at the history, I'm like, you need to give them a break.
Oh my god, yeah. Like,
oh my god. Is it a good smell? Yes, it smells like cheese, so it smells good. Okay, one of my questions was favorite cake. Oh my god, I cannot pronounce things today. Canon ship. A pairing that happens in the books and movies that you were just like, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you start because I'm not sure. Yeah, there's not many to choose from.
I'm gonna go with the classic. My favorite, Faramir and Eowyn.
Oh,
just because I love Faramir as a person. He is my little angel. Mm-hmm. I see him. He's very respectful. He is smart. I feel like he would appreciate Eowyn and all of her, knowledge and skills. And I just see them, having like a fun day practicing sword work together. Like this,
I feel like they'd be well balanced in that,
like they have a good balance in their.
Yeah, they can be like serious and like wise and like good leaders, but also like you feel like they'd have fun together. I find it hard to imagine like Aragorn and Arwen having like fun.
No.
Right?
They're reading old books very slowly to each other. Yes. And like they're very balanced, and the fact that they're both royal, I feel like they would understand their upbringing, and I don't know, I see them as like a perfect, no drama, healthy relationship. Very like quiet. I feel like Aragorn and oh my god, what's her name? You just said it, Arwen. I think there might be a little more drama there, even though that drama is probably like super slow and
it's like slow motion drama as opposed to just like enjoying life.
Yeah, and I see them just being perfect together in Osgiliath where they end up. Then favorite non-canon ship. Oh wait, did you answer yours? You didn't answer.
I didn't. I mean, I'm gonna go with Sam and Rosie, just because I mean I'm kind of biased, but also I feel like similarly they're just like well matched, and like I see them settling down and just having a happy life together. And Sam's been all through all this stuff, but he gets to come home and like marry the girl of his dreams and like have babies and probably have a potato garden and just be like, hey, we're just like really like chill, down to earth people, and here's our adorable curly haired children with, you know, they're pretty cute too.
The only thing I always think of like what it's like for Rosie being with Sam after he went all like I just think there would be like kids, your dad is like going through something. He's like in his memories, he's in the darkness, and like he can never be part of it. I feel like that would be hard. Like, you know, like when they talk about people coming back from war zones, like there's always something that's just like there's a distance there. I mean, I don't know. I'm just from what I know.
No, that's a good point.
Faramir and Eowyn were both underappreciated when they were younger. They didn't relate to each other. Yes, and I think we as like young readers underappreciated them. I feel like now that I'm my old age, I'm not as interested in like the dramatic characters. Like I can see who is actually someone I would want to hang out with. I usually don't want to hang out with people who I was interested in when I was younger, because they were like more, I don't know, toxic. Yeah. There's more drama. There's more like action happening. And I'm like, no, I need someone stable.
Yeah. What's the thing? Are you a chill person?
Yes. Then favorite non-canon ship.
I have to go Legolas and Gimli. I'm torn because on one hand I love the idea of them just being like bros for life, but also my little shipper heart can't resist being like, you would be the most adorable couple. Tiny angry axes and then like tall and elegant and just like
and like Legolas being like, it's okay. Yeah. So my timer went off. I don't know if this is how it's supposed to look. It looks very like springy. It's definitely doesn't
that
look.
Looks right to me. This is here. I'll show you what mine looks like. Mine looks like this. Mine's bumpier on top.
It has more like bumpy stuff.
Yeah, but it looks like the same color and stuff. I poked mine and it was fully done.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're gonna cool for it because it's very hot. This definitely looks like bread. This is not a hard compressed thing. Yeah. It's not a toast. Okay. Legolas and Gimli, yes.
What is yours?
Oh my god, I had an answer for this. I wrote it down on my phone. I think, I remember what it was. I don't remember his name. So I think of Aragorn being super old, right? Mm-hmm. And super hot, as we established. Yeah. And I think of all the time he spent in Rivendell, like his younger years, or maybe he was more like romantic and adventurous, maybe before he met Arwen. And I remember that scene when they are on the way to Rivendell, and I don't remember the name of that elf.
Glorfindel?
Or Frodo?
Yes.
Yes. He's described as this like golden elf. Like he is perfect. He's like a prince of elves. Like he's just wow. And I can just see, like maybe not teenage, like late teenage, early 20s, Aragorn having a thing for him. Maybe they had like a little thing going on. Like I just love that pairing so much.
I buy it.
Aragorn's ex. Yes. Glorfindel. Yes. It's such a weird name. New head again. Right? Because I'm like, I need Aragorn to be bi, first of all. Like it's very important for me. I don't know why. I just really need that. I just really need this. And I really like this idea. And like they're both eternal, so it's not like Etrus is forever. Like there's no,
and you can like totally like picture them being like, oh, we're going off hunting orcs in the mountains together, and we've got like a whole, we're off on our big trip, and we're building feelings, and like
Yes, and they're like practicing sword fights and training. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I keep mixing up your questions with the recipe. Just like, no, stir in something. You also ask, if you had a cool shield, what would you choose to put on it?
Yeah,
What would
I don't
you
know.
say?
Like,
You don't know.
no, I really love dogs, but I feel like having a dog on your shield is like a wolf is like, yes, wolf. But if you've got like
Well, it depends what kind of
a
dog.
poodle, it's like purple shield.
Well, I think
poodle.
the cuteness will repel the orcs.
Oh, true,
It's
true.
like, oh, this is too cute. This is weird. This is weird. Can you imagine if there's like an army and all the shields are like pink and fuzzy and like orcs would just go like wild. Like, we don't know what this is.
On them.
Yeah, like, what is this new weapon? I don't understand. Like, our minds cannot comprehend. This is not what we're used to. This is weird. So I think that could work. A poodle, yes. Oh, I this is weird. I was gonna say this. I know this is weird. I really like waving curly hair on everything and anything. And I love the dogs that have like wavy texture, like curly fur.
Yes.
That's why I like sheep so much. Yes. I can see them remaining friends afterwards. That's what I mean about like elves not really having like marriages or whatever, because they're forever. So it's like, yes, for like this amount of time I hang out with that person. I feel like in your community you kind of date everyone at a certain time.
Yeah.
Like
you gotta be chill with
girl
being
situation.
Like,
depends on the season, like, who you're into. Like in the end, you'll pretty much be with everyone. I have to have an ugly sea creature.
Like one of the spiky ones or one of the blobby ones? Which would it be, Amy? We talking like, or just like?
Oh my god, there's so many scary sea creatures. I think because my last name in Russian means eagle. Like it's literally just the word eagle, not the way I spell it in English, but if you spell it correctly and you pronounce it correctly, it means eagle. I would definitely have an eagle on it. And I was thinking of what else would be on it. A blobfish. That
is so fun.
I love that you're so obsessed with sea creatures. That's like, it fits you so well too. What was I saying? Oh, and I was thinking what else would I want to have as a like coat of arms? And I was thinking of books, but then I thought of the like coat of arms of Venice is a lion with a book or like sitting on books, and that book is the Bible. And that's actually a fun fact. Whenever you see in Italy, in Venice, a lion with a closed book, that means that was done during a war. So the Bible was closed. And whenever it's pictured with an open book, it's during peacetime. How weird is that? So that's really why I was like, I know. And I was thinking, oh, maybe an eagle with books, but then like it just, eagles and books don't fit well together. And I also would not want to have that like religious undertone to it as well. So I don't know. They're definitely an eagle. If you ever see one, send it my way. What? Wait. See what? We'll send whatever you want. Just tell us what do you mean? Middle Earth has some iconic pairings, siblings and friends. Which one of each two are you? Here you go. Philly and Killy. Who are you, Killy or Philly? What do you feel like drawn?
Hobbit movies enough to feel like I have a sense of their distinct personalities.
Well, Killy is the one who's like reckless. He's the younger one. He falls in love with an elf.
Okay, I'm definitely Philly then. Much as I love the idea of being like a spontaneous person, I'm so not reckless. I'm the person who's
Not
like,
a rogue.
okay, have we all got our helmets and have we packed our first aid? Are you wearing sunscreen?
I feel like you and I would be good on like a hike situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am definitely Philly because I'm also blonde and I like braids, and he has his hair in braids. I'm just like,
Yes.
I like the look. Oh, Anita. We've been here a while. We've been here for almost 2 hours. Well, you know what? It happens. Legolas or Gimli?
I like to think that like I'm externally Legolas, but like internally Gimli. Although Legolas is pretty like, I'm just gonna shoot you, so maybe they're.
Now I'm thinking of dwarves the way that Amy talked about, like darkness and meat and love of money. And
in that sense, I'd say I'm more Legolas, but
like I'm this creature, but inside it's all about the money. I would say that I'm like exactly in the middle.
okay.
And the way that Gimli and Legolas sort of like fight, more like Gimli saying stuff to Legolas. I feel like that's two parts of me. Maybe it's because, you know, let's go for the stereotype Geminis, two personalities. There's Gimli, there's Legolas. There's like, I would like to eat all organic stuff and work out and do stretches and ballet. And then there's like, where is the meat?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no like alcohol for me, but yeah, where is the money? I don't know. I just feel like there is a part of Gimli in me for sure. And that's why they're like so perfect together, because they're so different.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Merry and Pippin.
Probably Mary, because again, I'm not the one who like causes huge like catastrophes usually. I'm the one who's like, hey, come with me, come on, I'm doing the thing, come, we're doing the thing. And I feel like that's more Mary's job. Pippin's more just like, I'm here. Oh, here, I'm gonna push this. Oops, that was very loud.
Wait, I'm now lost. You said Mary.
Yes. Yeah. I like to think I'm usually the one who's like trying to take charge of everything.
I try to. Sometimes I don't distinguish them well.
That's fair.
The only thing I was just like, who ends up in Minas Tirith? That's Mary.
Pippin.
That's Pippin?
Yeah.
You see? Then I agree with you, because I would not go sneaking looking at the Palin.
Right?
Because like sleep is important.
Yes.
I don't need trouble. I'm a
if
curious
Gandalf
person.
says no, he said no for a reason, and
like you don't want to mess
listen.
with Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Lana was going to mention just a joke. Yes. Did you remember, everyone? I am a Gemini. Let's say it again. Frodo and Sam. Oh, this one is hard.
I think at my best, I'm a Sam, and at my worst, well, not at my worst, because it's not that Frodo's like a bad person, and like he is dealing with a lot and like carrying a very heavy burden and stuff. I think the more negative side of my personality can lean a bit towards the like support me. I'm doing a thing. I need support. But like I try and be more like, you know, hey, I'm going to be a helpful person to others and supportive to other people as well.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of, and I could not decide. I was trying to come up with like two differences. Like what does Frodo and Sam mean? And I was thinking of Frodo being the person who, like, they both kind of sacrifice themselves just in different ways.
True.
And you might say that, you know, Frodo didn't have a choice, and like Sam had a choice, and he chose to support his friend and be loyal. But I think in his mind, he didn't have a choice. Like his moral way he is made, like, no, this is not a choice. He has to support Frodo. So I think they're both not, and like in the same sense, they both have a choice, but they choose to do this. I think I can see myself. I love hyping up my friends. It's so much easier than doing the thing myself. So much easier. Like I know exactly what to say because maybe I need to hear it. And so I can see myself being a Sam. I also like taking care of people. There's just something about that, not control necessarily, but like I don't know how to explain. Like it's good to
I know what
help
you mean.
others. Yeah, it's like that being that person who's like, did you pack the things? Did you do that? Like, there's something about like I'm like the mama bear right now. That is like it feels good to me, and I could be that person who's like, you're going through a lot of stuff. I'm going to be with you. I would enjoy doing that, but I have a lot of ego, and I would definitely enjoy being like, I am doing the hardest thing, and even if I fail, I was the one who tried.
Yes.
So maybe Frodo, because Sam would feel good, but I would need an ego boost. Not to say that like Frodo is egoistic in any way.
No,
it's hard. This is a hard question. They're both awesome.
Yeah, like, and that's like, they can't exist without the other. Like, neither of them could have done it alone. So,
yeah.
Friendship.
Frodo in the book is very capable. Poor movie Frodo was rough. In
That's
the book,
true.
I was so surprised when I read the books that Frodo is not a young boy. He is like 50. He's a man. He's a grown-ass man. And yeah, like in the movie, he's just... You just want to wrap him up in a blanket and feed him. You're like, it's okay, child. Don't cry. Yeah, and in the book, it's a little different. The dynamic is different, definitely. Yeah, because even, I don't know, Sam in the movie almost seems older than Frodo.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely
like
feels like...
Yeah, like I'm taking care of you, you poor child. And in the book, it's definitely way more of a equal dynamic. Like we're both grown men and we're gonna do this together. I know nothing about astrology. I know I'm a Pisces. What does that mean? I live with a Pisces. It means a lot of different things. I'm gonna look it up and send you stuff, Amy, because I can't think of anything on top of my head and I don't want to lie. Okay. Faramir, Boromir.
Definitely Faramir. Like, maybe I'm being egotistical about my true nature, but like...
You have a sister. Are you the older sibling or the younger?
Yeah, by 4 and 6 years. So.
Wait, yes. Which one?
Both. I've got 2 siblings, so I'm 4 years older than my brother and 6 years older than my sister.
So you're the second child.
No, I'm the oldest of.
Oh, you're the oldest.
Both...
Oh, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the baby, so I think that's one of the ways I relate to Faramir. Of like, I mean, it obviously every family is very different. But the way that Faramir and Boromir are sort of set up in the book, there is a lot of like not just love from their father for Boromir, but kind of like he has an idea what a son has to look like and who will make him proud, and he like puts that all on Boromir, and Boromir does that. So Faramir kind of like, I don't care about you. I have what I want when I think of like a son. This is what I have. I don't know where I'm going with this. Wait. But like Faramir then is like kind of left to his own devices, and like yes, he's trying to be as cool as his brother. He really like worships his brother, but there's also a sense of, you know, I can kind of do whatever. No, there's more leeway. Not leeway. There's less. The thing that different would be with like my sister. She feels a lot of responsibility. And sometimes I feel like it's a lot of responsibility that's not necessarily on her, but she feels it. And a lot of people who I know who are the older sibling in their family, they also feel that responsibility on them all the time. I don't know if that's true for you. Do you feel that?
Somewhat. I mean, I don't know how far apart you and your sister are, but for me, because my siblings are close in age and I'm like significantly older, we had like not a weird or bad dynamic growing up, but it was always like Rosie and the kids. Like I wasn't like
You're one of the parents.
they were like basically twins because they're only 2 years apart and like did everything together. And then like I was a lot older. You know, my sister was starting high school when I was partway through university, and like so I definitely had more responsibility, but not in like a parental like I think my parents were really good about being like, yeah, like I babysat my siblings and stuff, but
yeah, I think
they never had that like you're the oldest and we like expect perfection from you. It was more just like, yeah, you're a good kid and we like give you responsibility because we can trust you. You can imagine the kind of person I was at like 13. It's a very clear line from where I am now.
It's interesting. I think you're right. It does. It must matter how, like, what is the difference between siblings as well? Because I mean, we are very close in age, and from what I understand, Boromir and Faramir were as well.
Yeah, I
so
always
there's
had the
more
impression
of
that, like they were.
You will, even if, I mean, depends on the family again, but there will always be like comparisons done. And it doesn't sound like Faramir or Boromir have like a very healthy relationship with their parents. Where is their mom? We don't know if it's just the dad.
She died like I think around the time Faramir was born. So
I mean, there's just that like very toxic masculine energy of like a father who's very like I feel like a lot of people in that time, especially in those positions of power, like there is a certain expectation of like there's strength, there's a soldier, like these are the qualities that matter in you as a man. And yeah, I feel like especially if you have those comparisons, like that's a very toxic situation. So I don't know how we started and we ended up here. But that's what I was thinking. I was just saying that I relate to Faramir maybe also because I'm a younger sibling and I always like also grew up looking up to my sister, just like, I want to be like you. And there was one moment when you're just like, oh, I'm a separate person. Like, oh, I want to follow you instinctively, but it doesn't feel right for me. I need to go this way now. And I feel like that's what kind of happened to Faramir as well. He's like, I love my brother, but of course Rosie is the older sister.
Yeah, doesn't surprise anybody.
I'm the older sister, but my sister and I behave more like twins. Always get confused about who's older. Listen, everyone always thinks that my sister is younger.
People used, not anymore, because I'm starting to look mid-20s and my siblings are still very early 20s, but people used to think I was the youngest because I'm the shortest. It's like, no. People like, I know she's 4 inches taller than me, but yes, she's 6 years younger. I'm done with university. She's in grade 11. Like, I was actually, this is sort of ridiculous. I was helping her move into university, like move into dorms. So we're with our aunt, and I pulled up my younger sister, me, and our aunt, and we get out, and the person comes up and is like, "Great, are you two roommates?" And I'm like, I have a master's degree. I have a career job. No, I'm not a first-year student in university.
It must feel good. I mean, maybe not now.
It's true. No, it does. Yeah. It is like, okay, good. I don't look that old.
My parents are helicopter parents. They babied us well into adulthood. Well, I feel like a lot of people have that. We live in a society that kind of needs that. Yeah. We're not in the 80s anymore. When I listen to like true crime podcasts about like people in the 80s and how kids just ran around and no one knew where they were, like that doesn't sound safe. So far, everyone is exactly who I thought they were. Yep. Always thought Rosie's tall. Me too. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9" or 175 centimeters. So I'm tall for a woman. It's just that my siblings are huge. My sister is 6'1" and my brother is 6'4".
Interesting. So you're just like, you're a little shorter than I am.
Yeah.
I'm 5'10".
The infuriating part is they both wear heels. Both of them, my brother and sister, like 4-inch heels. We have photos of my parents at weddings where my parents are both like 5'10", 6 foot. They look like dwarves because my siblings are so tall.
Oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that like they're so close in age and they're both so tall.
I know. Yeah.
I always thought Rosie was tall too. You see, you have tall energy, Rosie. And 5'9" is tall.
Yeah.
It's like, pretty tall.
Pretty tall.
Depends where you are, I guess.
Yeah.
But everyone is taller than me. That is tall.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I remember when I was in like high school, I went to China and I couldn't find anything. And then like clothes and shoes. And yeah, because it's just like, where are your sizes that would like fit me? I'm like in high school, like I'm not even fully grown. And I can fit into anything. And all like the doors are so low. That's Amy's height. 5'1". What is that in centimeters? Like 160? No, 169? 170?
No, it'd be less than 170. I'm 175 at 5'9".
Oh, and
so I think.
Okay, that is short. But Amy, honestly, you don't have, I'm not gonna say short person energy. I don't think of you as short when I watch your videos, is all I'm gonna say. You have a big personality. Yeah. Oh my God, I ripped myself. 155 centimeters, not even 160. Interesting. Well, now we know what we would look like if we ever went anywhere together. Amrita and Amy gossiping, and me and Rosie
I went to a high school in a community where women tended to be shorter, but my prom photos are hilarious because I was wearing heels because I was still in a point where I routinely did that. And so like, I was like, in all my prom photos, all of my friends come up to like here.
Oh my God.
I'm just there like, hi, yes.
I had like, not back problems, but I would always like slump in high school because all my friends were shorter, and when we would walk down the hall, they would talk among themselves. I was just like, what? Talk to me too. Like I couldn't walk like this. So I had to just always be like, I'm part of the conversation. Instead of just like being tall.
My sister did that for a while, and my dad had a campaign. If he was so annoyed, he'd be like, Maeve, tits first.
I remember my mom giving directions to my sister in high school because we would always, like, tall people always slump because of this. Like, whenever you talk during breaks, go to the stairs and stand like 2 steps down. Because otherwise you'll have back problems. Like, you have to take care of your posture. So go to the stairs. They're not far. Always do that every break. Want to talk to someone? Let's go to the stairs and stand down. So you can look at each other. Like, Mom, I don't think it's gonna work. She's gonna have no friends. If you want to talk to her, you have to go to the stairs. That's not gonna happen. Oh my God, we've been here for 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Should we sample?
Yes, I don't think we're gonna make it to the quizzes. Maybe we'll leave that for next.
Part 3?
We have so many questions still left. We're gonna leave all of those for next time because my sister is getting hungry. I can feel it. So it looks very, I mean, it's not too soft.
Mine feels firmer than I thought it would as well.
Yes, I mean, it still has like a lot of give to it. Let's see what it looks like.
This is not the texture I expected from it. Mine's very like, it's very like dense. I don't know if you can see it. It's like, it's not crummy. I expected it to be very like, yeah, like Margaret said earlier, like cake texture, like loose crumb.
Yes.
But
so I couldn't find any big ass leaves to wrap around this, but imagine having a big leaf.
Yes.
It's stuck to the to the bottom.
Oh no.
It's not gonna be pretty. This is not gonna be pretty. Ugh. Oh no, mine is very much like a bread.
Oh, okay. Yours looks more like the texture that I expected. It's
very soft. And I think it's also because I have a lot of cheese here.
Well, you can't go wrong with that much Parmesan. It definitely tastes good.
This would be like a side to something.
Mm-hmm.
There's sugar in this as well. 1 tablespoon. Oh, I didn't put a tablespoon. I put a teaspoon.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
So maybe this is more savory than it has to be.
No, mine's pretty savory
I like
too.
it, but I would almost like use this next to like with a soup. Maybe it doesn't have a very like strong flavor. It's like a weird bread. Maybe this is what like cornbread looks like. Because I mean, yes, it's very bready.
Yeah.
Like it's not too
I would
crumbly.
usually serve it like with like a soup or like with like a chili type dish. That's what I'm gonna do with mine. I've got some in the freezer that I'm gonna thaw out and like put the like chili on top of it and sort of eat it together.
I'm gonna say I used a lot of whole wheat flour, and I was wondering if it will change the look, but no, it's very yellow. And yeah, it's good. I mean, I recommend it if you want some bread. I don't think if I were going on a very long journey, I would have this with me. I feel like it would get moldy very fast.
Yeah. I feel like you'd want something like biscotti or something if you were going actually a long way.
Something that is like dry already. One small bite can keep a grown man full for days. No, not me.
No.
Well,
I will be eating a lot of this as soon as we finish.
We need to find a man and feed him and see if he'll feel full. I'm not full.
No.
Now you know why Legolas was taking dainty bites. Amrita mentioned how in the GIF that I posted with Legolas reacting to Lembas being like, Lembas bread, and then like taking a very small bite, like he sounds too enthusiastic and he doesn't express that in the way he eats it. And I was speculating how maybe when he was younger, he once took a big bite, too big of a bite, and then couldn't walk all day because he was just so full. So now he's excited, but he's cautious. Oh my god. Clearly going by the reaction. I always thought that even if I were full, I wouldn't have been satisfied from a bite. Yes, you need like the good part of food is not even needing to be full. It's the process. It's needing
it's why I feel like I could never do like meal replacement shakes because I wouldn't
texture
feel like I've eaten something.
Yeah. And I remember reading about anatomy and stuff that just the process of chewing does release I'm not gonna say endorphins because I'm not sure, but like it does calm you down because usually you would eat when you're safe.
Oh,
so like it creates like you're safe, you're doing stuff for your body right now, you're not running from a tiger, you're eating, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, like chewing is important. I was gonna say this is not gonna keep me full for days because I'm still not like fully understanding the flavor. Like I need to eat a lot of it to be like, oh, this is what it is, if that makes sense. Because it looks one way and it tastes a different way.
Huh.
A great explanation from Svetlana. Okay, I think we should wrap it up.
Yes.
I would want to do this forever. As I said, we have a lot more very fun questions. Namely,
definitely do part 3.
Yes, I found out there's a Gollum song on the Two Towers soundtrack, which I did not know about. It's very creepy. And we have quizzes that we found that we want to do. So we definitely need to do this again. We probably shouldn't do such a big break between the lives.
That was entirely my fault, and
no,
will not happen again.
I forgot about it completely as well. Also, maybe next time we can find several things that we can do and then let you guys vote what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it'll be more like interactive. Yes. And if you think of questions that we should answer next time, you can write them in the comments here. We'll look them up next time. So this is great. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
For all your questions and comments. Margaret is gone, but Margaret, if you're watching this later, thank you for all your insights. I have so many screenshots that I have to like go and research now. Thank you everyone who showed up. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Rosie, for doing this again with me.
This was so much fun.
I feel like I need to go reread the books now because I have like more questions now. And maybe next time I will read the appendixes and have some insights myself. Okay. Thank you for bringing back Cooking with Hobbits. Well, technically this time we were cooking with the elves. It's been fun. See everyone around. Have a great day or evening or night wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.